Jialiang, thank you very much for having me. What is Smith's Treatise?
In 2014, when we first opened, the craft beer scene was really dominated by a lot of bottles. So when we opened, what we thought of was we wanted to make sure that we could have craft beers on draft. So many distributors were already like pushing out craft beer kegs and like putting out like really good beers. At the same time, technology in terms of one-way kegs improved leaps and bounds. In terms of failure rates and everything, it was like much lower. I still remember there was a point of time just at our bottle shop at Good Beer Company in 2011. Halfway through service, one of our kegs just ruptured. But the technology was just good enough in 2014 that it allowed us to do a lot more of a keg system in Singapore. So we spoke to our major partners and distributors and said, hey, bring in some kegs, we will buy it from you. There's no doubt about that. So it was the kind of radical proposition that sparked off an entire half a decade of like expansion for craft beer. At this point in time, if you ask any distributor, they'll easily say that the one that's underpinning their sales, the one that's underpinning their revenue is kegs. In 2014, it was like 80% bottles, 20% kegs. Now it's the complete opposite. Like easily is the complete opposite. Yeah.
You guys led the change.
We were able to fail. If you're any other bar, you're gonna say, oh, I'm gonna set up a 12-tap craft beer bar at a location, right? Yeah. You're gonna pay like $200,000 for renovations, just to get the right certification, hire staff, all that, right? And I guess, it was a lot easier for us because it's just a hawker store.
Being that it is a hawker store, I mean, you are, I think, subject to some specific conditions, for example.
Right. It's really awkward because when we started it, the NEA didn't really consider this to be a problem. Like, they never thought, oh, someone will set up a drink store and they'll only sell alcohol and they'll be fiscally soluble by the end of 2 months. We were so successful to the point that they created a clause specifically for us, which basically says, in taking up a drink store, you agree to sell non-alcoholic drinks.
Okay.
And you are not allowed to sell only alcoholic drinks. When I read the clause, and I was like, oh, this is us.
Because of you, yeah.
A lot of the distributors were also very nice to us. They were like, oh, we only have a few kegs of this, like, do you want all of it? And we would say yes, stupidly. We'd say, yeah. That kind of momentum actually helped us to create kind of like a crowd of regulars and a crowd of like old friends. Kind of became a focal point in the craft beer industry. That was kind of the joy that we had, because I mean, it's about making money. That's what a business is, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also about being able to build a community. It's only because of our customers that we have managed to come so far.
This is what differentiates Smith's Treatise for me from any other craft beer bar I've been to. Like, I feel like I walk in here and people know each other, people are talking to each other, people have a relationship with you or with anyone else here. So I'm a bit torn up that you guys are closing.
Right.
What's happening? So the whole place is going under renovation?
I mean, if you think Tsukiji had a horde of pests, you've seen nothing yet. It's a real thing. Like, it's a tropical country.
Yeah.
All manner of pests that have been feeding in this like giant complex that has been filled to the brim with food stalls, dry sundry goods, everything. So it's much needed. We're still very torn up. Some of the older hawkers, they'll take this opportunity to just retire. So there is also that sense of loss that all of us carry in Chinatown complex. Like just 5 years ago, honestly, the amount of people that have kind of left Chinatown has just been... I'm using the word left euphemistically. It's just like some people just literally died, right? It's a reality of the situation that hawkers are dying out.
I want to talk about what we're drinking. So I'm drinking Rocky Ridge
Ace Pale Ale, yes. Yes.
This is from WA, right?
It's from WA, yeah.
Western Australia.
I'm having the Rocky Ridge Session Ale. This is the kind of palate I've developed these days. I just want to drink something light and crushable.
Because I was in WA.
Yeah.
When you messaged me and saying, are you in Mugger River? Like, check these guys out. Why Rocky Ridge? What is it about Rocky Ridge that you like?
Superficially, Rocky Ridge really got me because their beers were really well designed. Like beer cans, everything was really well designed. It was
I love that too. I mean, if you have a good design on your can, I feel like I get you.
It was to the point where I looked at the design. It was clean. It was snazzy. It was really direct and clear communication. And all I could think of was, wow, if the label was like that, I wonder how the beers are, right? Exactly. This wasn't a planned stop. We pulled up to this dingy brewery and the thing that first greeted us was a hop farm. So basically vines of hop are just like trailing down. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. I spoke to the owner, you know, we talked about like our goals. The more we talked to him, the more I realized like, wow, he's really, really in deep. The yeast that he used to ferment his beer are all from his farm. He has his own hop farm. Unlike most Margaret River breweries, he has his own source of water. All this is centered towards one goal, sustainability. One of the things that we don't talk about enough in craft beer is that it is enormously taxing on the environment. So that's their whole ethos. Like they want to brew beer, but at the same time, they want to make sure that they do it in a way that's not overtly taxing to the environment. That's great, right?
Yeah.
That's great in and of itself. What really makes it different is that their beers are fucking good as well, which is like, yeah. That's one of the things that I realized about the yeast that they have. A lot of the more famous brewers' yeast that I've encountered, like English style ales and stuff like that, you know, the yeast tends to assert itself in a more like larger characteristic than you expect. For example, if your Weizens, right, your wheat beers, you have like huge banana aromas, you know, there's a certain level of carbonation in the beers, or even your English pale ales, you know, you expect a certain amount of breadiness and malt flavor from these beers. But for Rocky Ridge beers, it's just so pleasant to drink. It's just so crushable.
Yeah.
And it's really what we need in the environment here.
So what happens when this place shuts down in 3 months? What's happening for Smith Street Taps in the next 3 months?
We're arranging for a pop-up. We'll announce it soon. It's going to be nearby. That's really what I can promise.
So we've been here at Smith Street Taps with Jialiang on the week of their closure. This is the last week. If you're watching this, they probably closed for renovation. This whole place is renovating right now. We'll post in the description where the pop-up is. Thank you very much for tuning in, and see you next time. Take care. Bye.